Imagine this. A dark, silent forest in the middle of the night. The only sounds are the whisper of the wind through the trees and strange noises echoing in the distance. You're alone digging in the dirt when suddenly you feel it. Someone or something is following you. Your heartbeat quickens, your steps grow heavy, and that shadow behind you keeps getting closer until you realize this isn't a person at all, but something else. Something caught between man and beast. In 1924 near Vancouver, a man named Albert Ostman claimed to experience exactly this, and what happened next would shake America for decades to come. The story begins in the dense wilderness of British Columbia in the year 1924, when a prospector named Albert Ostman decided to venture deep into the forest near Vancouver in search of gold. The forest at night was the kind of place that could break even the bravest man's nerves. Towering pines creaked in the cold wind. The silence seemed alive with whispers, and every shadow moved like something waiting to strike. Ostman carried a small camp set up, including a sleeping bag, on a particularly uneasy night. As he tried to rest, a suffocating fear overtook him. He had the sense that eyes were watching him from the darkness. Hours ticked by as Ostman kept himself hidden, his head buried inside the sleeping bag, until his breath grew short and unbearable. When he finally dared to pull his head out to breathe the cold air, his worst nightmare unfolded. Standing around him were massive figures, 4 towering ape-like beings with heavy arms, deep-set eyes, and coarse hair covering their bodies. They were neither men nor animals, but something in between. Before Ostman could make sense of what was happening, he realized he was being lifted, carried away like a prisoner. The creatures hauled him across the rugged forest floor, deeper and deeper into the mountains, until he was dropped into a rocky enclosure that felt like their lair. For 6 long, agonizing days, Ostman was held captive, watched constantly by this strange family of giants. He noticed details that would burn into his memory forever. The female among them tending to what looked like a child, the male towering over 10 feet tall with incredible strength, and their strange grunts and gestures that seemed like a primitive language. Ostman was terrified, but he also studied them carefully, desperate to find a way to survive. He ate what little food he had, clutched his belongings tightly, and tried to remain unnoticed. At one point he even witnessed one of these creatures grab his tobacco and chew it, reacting with strange expressions that almost seemed human. The tension was unbearable, and Ostman knew that if he did not escape soon, he might never leave alive. Meanwhile, his driver, who had been with him before the abduction, managed to slip away, vanishing into the wilderness, leaving Ostman completely alone with the monster. Day turned into night and night into day, and with every passing hour, Ostman's hope began to fade. The line between hallucination and reality blurred, but one thing was certain. He was in the grip of something beyond human understanding. The legend of Ostman's captivity spread slowly at first, whispered among loggers and trappers of the Pacific Northwest, until it became a roaring firestorm decades later. By 1958, America's fascination with monsters had reached a fever pitch. Newspapers reported on strange sightings and unexplained disappearances, but it was in Humboldt County, California, that the myth of Bigfoot truly exploded. Construction workers discovered massive footprints pressed deep into the soil, far larger than any human could make. The press swarmed the site, photographers captured the eerie track, the nation was gripped by fear. Could Ostman's tale have been real all along? Was there truly a race of enormous man-apes roaming the forests of North America? For years, the story only grew darker. Hunters claimed to hear howls at night, hikers reported shadowy figures watching them from the tree line, and families swore they saw a hairy giant moving through the mist. The creature became known as Bigfoot, a name that stuck in the American imagination, turning local campfire stories into one of the greatest legends of the 20th century. Yet, the truth behind the myth took a shocking turn in 2002. On November 26th of that year, an elderly man, 84 years old, passed away, and with his death came a confession from his family that would shake the legend to its core. The man's relatives revealed that back in 1958, he and his brother Wilbur had carved enormous wooden feet, strapped them on, and stomped through the dirt around their construction sites as a prank. They had no idea that their little joke would spiral into a cultural phenomenon, fueling fears, newspaper headlines, and half a century of monster hysteria. According to them, Bigfoot was nothing more than a hoax. But even after the revelation, not everyone was convinced. Skeptics argue that Ostman's terrifying account in 1924 could not have been fake. After all, his story predated the wooden footprints by decades. Eyewitnesses continued to come forward with tales of strange encounters in the woods, mysterious sounds echoing through the valleys, and shadowy shapes vanishing into the fog. Some researchers even suggested that the family's prank may have kept attention away from something far more real, something that truly existed in the darkest corners of the American wilderness. And so, the question still lingers today. Was Bigfoot just a clever joke, or did Ostman encounter something the world has never been able to explain? The forest forest keeps its secrets well, and as long as the pines sway in the midnight wind, the legend of the great beast will continue to haunt the American imagination.